Hi everyone, welcome back. As you already know, my name is Diana. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm so excited that I am going to share with you the story of my life in broad terms. But I want to share with you a story where I would like to call it chasing the American dream. So today I will take you on this little journey of remembering. I will try to remember so many details, um, but I want to tell you the story that shaped who I am today. It shaped me as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, and as a person in general. So this story starts all the way back in Romania where I was born and raised, and goes through a series of life-changing decisions that led me to London at the age of 22. And then 15 years later, I found myself here in the US, where I currently lived for the past 3 years. So life has brought me across the Atlantic Ocean, or like the English people will call it, across the pond. So when I left Romania, I had dreams, but also I had many doubts. At the age of 22, I was excited, I was scared, I was totally unprepared for what London had in store for me. And I have to tell you that it wasn't an easy road. I encountered culture shocks, language barriers, a fair share of loneliness, but I also discovered resilience that I did not know I had. So, London taught me so much about myself, um, about independence, about the value of starting over, and I wouldn't trade those years for anything in the world. Then came the move to the US, which brought its own wave of emotions. It was like stepping into a brand new chapter, where once again, I was the newcomer, figuring out from scratch and trying to find my way around. Um, Obviously, it was both intimidating and thrilling, and I realized that each new place taught me something different about life, about people, and about myself in general. So, whether you're thinking about moving abroad or facing challenges of your own, or just curious about what it's like about starting a new chapter in your life, um, and starting all over, not once but twice in a lifetime, then just stick around, as this journey has been filled with ups and downs, unexpected challenges and lessons that I will probably carry with me forever. I'm excited to share all of this with you, so let's dive in for the rest of the story. So here is where I start my story in more detail. So let's go back to when I was 22. Living Romania was huge for me. I've grown up in a close-knit community where everyone knew each other, and everyone was familiar with everyone. So life was just simple and beautiful. So stepping out alone in a city as massive and fast-paced as London was terrifying and thrilling all at once. It was like diving headfirst into a completely different world. I had dreams and ambitions, but I was also facing so many unknowns, like would I fit in? Could I handle the overwhelming pace of the city? And then there was the language barrier. Sure, I knew some English, but learning to communicate in a culture with all its unique phrases, accents, and customs was a challenge on its own, which I had to face. So little did I know that life was about to surprise me in the most unexpected way. Um, London was a city full of surprises in general. But just 1 month after arriving in London, I met someone, and he's my husband till this day, and hopefully till the rest of my life. It was completely unplanned, and we clicked instantly, like we'd known each other for forever. Um, 5 months later, we got married. I know it wasn't a rush decision. I believe it was the best decision in my life. And moving to a new country was supposed to be a journey of finding myself, but I ended up finding my life partner too, and the most amazing things that happened to me. Um, so being in a foreign city didn't feel so lonely anymore after that. It felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. 5 years later, in 2012, our lives changed again when we welcomed our son. Becoming a mother in London was a whole new adventure. Um, in my opinion, it was the best place where I could have a child at the time. It was challenging, but it made me see the city and the life itself in a whole new light. So suddenly I wasn't navigating London um, for myself only, but for my family, learning the best parks, best spots where I could take my son and we could spend time, quality time together as a family. Also, motherhood gave me a different kind of strength, and it fueled a new ambition in me. This is when I decided to go after my dream of becoming a lawyer, and also balancing law school while raising a young child was incredibly tough. On top of that, we had other family issues as well. It was parent related, but I don't want to go into too many sad details. So some days I'd be up all night studying, and then get up in the morning, get my son ready for school, and then dive back into my studies. But I was determined, and I wanted to show my son that, and maybe myself as well, that you can chase your dreams no matter the challenges or how late you start in life. And that's a good advice for um, everyone who watches this video. If you're a mom, even if you're in your 40s, it's not too late to start a degree and get a qualification if you don't have one. So it's never too late. Just follow your dreams and follow what you have set your mind to. To me, that law degree felt like it was more than just a professional accomplishment. It was a symbol of resilience, of the resilience and the courage that I've developed since I left Romania. And I'll show you something. Okay. This is a picture with me from my graduation. And this is a university which is right at the outskirts of London. I'm really proud of this picture, and honestly, I'm really proud of myself as well. So basically, all those unknowns that I faced when I first arrived slowly turned into moments of growth and transformation. I learned that every life is, how should I put it in the right words? That life is different based on your location. It gives uncertainty, but it's just, I believe it's always leading you in the exact place that you are meant to be. So the beginning in London was tough for me. I faced a lot of loneliness because suddenly my friends and my family were miles away from me. I had to figure out everything, starting with finding a job, learning how to live on my own. Um, and obviously, London is one of the most expensive cities in the whole world. And I also had to figure out how to make friends in a culture that I wasn't familiar with. There were moments when I honestly thought about giving up and going back, but I never did it. I stood on my two legs and I said, head up and move forward. I started to find my way, and um, the struggle also taught me how resilient I was, and I never knew about it. I learned to trust myself and to keep pushing forward, even when I was scared. And over time, London became my home. Now, if you were to ask me, what would you call home? I would always say London over my hometown where I grew up. And that is because this is where I am who I am today. This is where I have my friends, my family currently. Back in my hometown, there is no one, so even if I want to visit it, I would be a stranger. Hence, why London is home to me right now. Um, Also in London, I started to build a career for myself. I found a supportive circle of friends, and I learned to appreciate the quirks of the British culture, which I currently love. I adapted to the lifestyle, and honestly, I fell in love with the city, with the country, with the culture, and with everything. Then, 15 years later, I found myself facing another major change, moving to the United States. And this is when I can say I started to follow my American dream. And I believe if everyone that will be watching me from Eastern Europe and maybe Europe, we grew up with at least I grew up with the dream of being a teenager in America. Watching those movies like Home Alone and American Pie, which was like a very funny movie, and then the Twilight Saga and so many American movies, it can only have you dream about it. So when the time came, it was my time. It was my time to move to America and to follow this dream that I had since I was a child. And after spending so much time in London, I felt rooted, but I was also ready to follow my dream, and I was also ready for a new adventure. The US brought its own set of challenges, so it wasn't the life that I saw in the movies. I had to learn a whole new lot of cultural nuances. I had to adapt to different work expectations. And once again, I had to build a new community from scratch. Basically, I was rebuilding my life once again. And there were definitely some surprises as well, like you know, it happens in life. The American lifestyle felt very different from the Europe's lifestyle. And even though I've visited before, it took a while to fully adjust. I believe I'm at the point where I'm still adjusting. Um, and sometimes I still feel homesick, but here I am. As I always tell you, I'm not the person to give up. So I am continuing my trip, my my dream here in the US. Uh, from the pace to the culture to the little things like the way people interact with each other, how different even the grocery shopping feels. There were and there still are so many adjustments. But I started to see this transition as yet another chance to grow, and it helped me build even more resilience and adaptability. Um, One of my biggest shifts for me was finding a career that aligned with my skills and my passions. I always loved organizing and planning. So when I became a venue manager and coordinator, I felt like I truly found my calling here in the US. It is a role that allows me to use both my creativity and my organizational skills, and it brings me so much joy to help couples bring their dream weddings to life. I get to bring a bit of my European flair into their wedding day. Some of them are extremely happy about it. Um, and everyone loves my accent, which is great. um, and that makes everything more special. This whole journey from Romania to London and then to the US reminded me that it is okay to start over. We don't have to have it all figured out by a certain age. Um, each new beginning is always a new step forward, even if it feels and it felt for me daunting at the time. Um, every challenge shaped who I am today, both personally and professionally. And I've learned that life's twists and turns are often just opportunities in disguise. Today, I get to be part of one of the happiest days in people's lives, and that's something I would have never imagined um, back when I first moved away from Romania. So, what I have learned from these moves, from these big moves, because it wasn't something that you can take a decision from one day to another. But first is the importance of resilience. Each time I faced a challenge, I learned to pick myself up, to keep going no matter how hard it was. Second, adaptability. So usually life throws away unexpected changes at you, at all of us. It doesn't ask if you're rich or poor, if you're young, if you're old. So get ready to receive these throwbacks from life. Um, and being able to adapt in any situation you find yourself is a very powerful skill. And finally, I've learned to trust my journey. Moving to different countries, meeting people from all walks of life, and adapting to each new place has given me a perspective that I would not trade for anything in the world. Now that you have reached this point in the video, I have to thank you so much for watching and listening to my journey. I hope sharing this inspires you to take on your own challenges and embrace the change and trust that every new step is part of the path. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and leave a comment down below about a challenge that you have overcome or a lesson that you have learned. Let's keep this discussion, this conversation going. Until next time, stay inspired and thank you again for subscribing.